Right, let me make sure this thing's straight. Right, it's Mark here. It's the weekend, so obviously, I mean, you can say at this point of the year, the weekend, is there stuff to talk about? And I think there is. I mean, the Hamza Igamane stuff has been hot and heavy towards the end of the week, all week really, and it's ongoing, and it's a tricky one for me because obviously he gets signed there for whatever it was, anywhere they're saying for like 1.7 to 2.3 million pound is what he got signed for. And you go, well, he's a young player, he's 22-year-old. But I mean, he's electric as I know. I mean, every time he got the ball last season, I was really interested. I mean, obviously, he's never seen a player that he doesn't want to nutmeg. That's sort of. But here's the thing: he was effective with it, wasn't he? So I like him. I mean, I think he scored. What did he score? 12 goals in the league. 16 goals total. I think he had 4 in 10 games in Europe. It's not a bad return, eh? I think he had whatever he had, 30 something league appearances. A lot of them were coming in as a sub as well early on. I just think that he's got potential to be a star player, right? I mean, he's no the most athletic player, but he's like a big rhino, as you know. You know, he's got the legs on him, the hips on him. He's like an NFL running back. He's just a big, strong, powerful young chap, and his finishing's fantastic. I just think he scores in big games. He's scored against them. He's scored against Aberdeen. He's scored against Hibs. He's a quality player, quality young talent, and I understand that. You know, we're seeing sort of talk and value anywhere from 12 to 15 to 25 million. And you think to yourself, you've got this young player that comes in, he plays for a year well enough that you can move him on for, I don't know, split the difference, 17 million, 17 to 20 million, 15 million, whatever it is, right? We could sit and argue the numbers, but that's quite a return. And if you're in the market, like if you're in the financial markets and you're getting that type of return in a year, you take it and you run like a thief in the night, eh? So business wise, if somebody comes in with a legit bid like that, then you sort of look at that and you go, well, business wise, it's a no-brainer. You take the money and run. But we're obviously fans in that, so we look at it differently. And look, he's under contract till 2029, so there's 4 more years, 4 more seasons on that. Let's just say last year was a flash in the pan, and he comes out this year, whether Dessers are still here or no, and he sort of collapses a bit, right? He regresses a wee bit. Well, the talent's still there. All the intangibles are still there. The potential's still there. And even though if the plan was to keep him another year and hopefully he bumps up to an even higher sort of, there's a higher ceiling, right? We're expecting him to go higher highs after a second season. If that regresses and doesn't happen, it's fine, because I wouldn't say we necessarily need the money for him, which obviously in our types of circles, that's going to spark all kinds of conversation. Rangers always needs money and all of this, but there's a new normal that I'm not sure we're quite used to or adjusted to, or even quite frankly that we understand at the minute when it comes to the new ownership and the new structure of the club and how all that's going to run. But still at this point, I wouldn't say that we desperately need the money. 15, 17, 20 million, whatever it is. We don't need it. and we still have the player under contract for another 3 years. I'm talking about at the end of this season. And even if that's a regressive season, everything's still there. He can still play his way back to probably to that level that we were talking the exit this year, the 12 to 15 million mark. So I don't really see a reason to punt him. Now, Russell Martin, obviously I don't know him. I don't know who he's thinking of bringing in. There's been a lot of talk of the Israeli chap. Again, here on this channel, we're not really talking speculation of players coming in, because that could just get crazy, right? I mean, goodness sake, Christian Eriksen and De Jong and everybody else is being talked about at the minute. They're actually putting that crap in papers. So I try not to talk about speculation of guys coming in, but I think it's fine to speak about potential players leaving, because they are our players, they are Rangers players, and I think we can talk about the current squad. So I just think there's no a downside to no moving them at the minute, even with that big flashy price tag that seems to be quite realistic. I mean, Everton, West Ham, Lille, Rennes. I mean, there's a lot of clubs that have been sort of linked. But if I'm Russell Martin, even if I have other strikers that I'm interested in, I sit there and I look at my squad, and I've got the current top goal scorer in the league that my team's playing in, who can score in Europe. Dessers, obviously, which I wouldn't be in a hurry to get rid of Dessers if a move gets made there for a 31-year-old player and this sort of thing. Maybe, right? But I'm not in a hurry to kick him out the door. And then I'm sitting there on the opposite end of the spectrum with Hamza Igamane, a young player who, even though he still is not a finished product, he's producing. Me taking over a new team, new tactics, new defensive style that we're going to see from the club. Maybe having those two up front and being able to bring in another player somewhere, whether it's a Shankland or whoever else he's got his eyes on from his past, that sounds solid to me. I mean, if I were Russell Martin, what I'm saying is I don't want to get rid of Dessers and Igamane in the same window. Try and implement this whole new scheme from back to front out on the pitch, and if for some reason the players that are brought in to lead the line aren't producing, need some time to adjust to the league, whatever else, and then our problem becomes that we can't score, all of a sudden the pressure, and all you Rangers fans that are always talking garbage about Dessers will get onto Martin and get onto the club, and what will you say? We sold the Golden Boot winner in the league, and you'll complain about that, even though you're chasing Dessers out the door. This is what will happen because we're Rangers fans, and that's what happens. So we'll see. I mean, look, if the talk and the rumours of the 20 to 25 million are true, I mean, it's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. You try and think about it yourself. If you had an asset, you had something that you bought for 1 to 2 million, and you could sell it in less than a year, realistically, about a year, July, we're heading into July. If you could sell it for a many multiple, right, you bought it for 2 million and you can sell it for 20 in 12 months. Why would you know? That's the business of football, eh? But he's an asset for a reason, and he's producing. He seems to enjoy his time. I remember watching sort of wee snippets off the field of him, learning English and this sort of thing. He seems to have to be enjoying life at Rangers. He's there was an interview with him and his father and that as well. He seems to be enjoying it. So unless he's running out the door, he doesn't seem like the kind of young guy that's going to be a problem, right? That's going to cause issues or cause a big stink if he's not getting his way, sort of thing. So I think there's no really a wrong answer to this at the end of this video. Eh? I don't think there's a wrong answer. I think if he did get sold and say it was for 15 million, I'd be disappointed because I loved watching him play. And it would be, to me, it would be sort of like an Arteta type thing. If you think back to when Arteta came, I remember he was fantastic at such a young age, and you knew he wasn't going to stay. But to get another year would have been great out of Arteta. So I'd be selfish there with Igamane if he left for 15 million. If he left for 25, I maybe wouldn't miss him as much. But we would have to see. I mean, where are we? Where are we clockwise heading? You know, it's June 28th at the minute. Who are we going to bring in to replace that? 16 goals, a lot of those appearances coming off the bench. Can we replace that? I don't know, right? I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you. If I knew, I'd probably be sitting at the offices of the club somewhere trying to scout these players or going through reports or tinkering with AI to try and flush some of that out. But I'm not. I'm sitting here talking to you. So they would have to make that decision. It's one thing to have 25 million sitting, but then what do you do? What happens after that? So it's an interesting one. I don't think Rangers are in a rush. So we'll see. And look, he is still 22-year-old, right? All the potential he has. If I'm another team and I'm kicking the tyres on him and Rangers are slow rolling me on it, then maybe I just move on to the next target, right? We'll see. But if he stays, I'm excited because another year of development and him fitting into a wee bit better setup, a better defensive setup. He's an aggressive player, and Martin's has an aggressive type defensive scheme that can get the ball back and start pushing and counter-attacking, which I think will work in Scotland. It obviously didn't work at Southampton because you see for a team like Southampton to play that aggressively in the Premier League, it's never going to work, is it? It's and he stuck to it. He stuck to his guns, and it ended up getting him the sack. But I think that would work for us. I think it would be a scheme that would work for us. So especially just because of the type of team we are and the league we play in, I think it's going to be successful. So you'd see Igamane and Dessers, to be frank, getting a lot better opportunities and us no being on the back foot as much. Certainly, I think there'll be a marked improvement to starting games down 1-0. So, which changes the whole face of the game, does it? Does it not? So, again, if he stays, I'm happy. If he goes for a big price, I'm happy. But I'd love to see him stay. I mean, to me, it was must-see TV, right? I mean, I live in America. I would get up even for the 12 o'clock kickoffs at 6 o'clock for me in the morning, and I'd be up, and if he was on the team sheet or if he gets subbed in, it's must-see TV for me. He was fantastic on the ball. Can change the game in a flash. Big, strong. We've talked about it. We know who he is and we know what he can be. So let's see what happens with this one. We'll keep an eye on it. I have absolutely zero doubts that there will be more talk. There'll be more speculation. There'll be all sorts of craziness happening in the media, if you can call it that, in the papers and all this. The headlines will get a wee bit ridiculous surrounding Igamane, but I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it, and we'll see what happens going into next week. Thanks for watching these videos. I mean, it's easy for me to make them. Pop on 15 minutes, tell you my wee thoughts that are going on in my head. I might be a wee bit late on some of these topics. I'll never be early. We're not going to be that kind of person who's speculating and trying to get out ahead of stuff. I think that's silly. I think that's one of the worst things in Scottish football, is all the silly speculation. So we'll not be participating in that. But a lot of topics. The summertime, the off season here is obviously heated up, and stories are coming thick and fast. And I'm sure you're like me. You're here for them. There's talk of different friendlies and closed door matches and things that are happening. So we can maybe talk about some of that noise as well. But that's it. Thank you very much for being here again. Like, subscribe, share. I keep posting these wherever I can to try and get some eyes on them. And Hamza Igamane, let me know in the comments what you think. You want him to stay? You alright if he goes? And if he does go, for what price would you be happy with parting with a young talent like that obviously has incredible potential? So that's it. We'll talk later. Thank you very much.